I was teaching theater, speech, and I was over there worship team, leading them in worship. Well, I wasn't singing. I put the band together and they sung. But during that summer, every summer I went and found a part-time job. But that year, I got a part-time job at a company called Novo One. Some of you may have worked there before. I've heard of it. It's a call center. And I was there just for the summer to do a call center job. And while I was there, it was a really, really, really different environment. Everybody there was just so live, and it was a different group of people than I've experienced before. And I was working on a campaign with TXU that summer. We were doing a win-back campaign for businesses, so I would call businesses that had recently left TXU as a customer, and we would offer them a cheaper deal than what they had before to get them to come back. Had they offered that to them in the first place, I would have never left, but I was part of the win-back campaign, so I had to win a certain number of accounts per day. During that summer, I was kind of seeing somebody, but not really. But it was a girl there at my job. She was really awesome, and she was my boss. And during training, they had already given us a no fraternization rule, so I was like, well, clearly this is off limits. But that didn't stop me from flirting, and those of you that know me well, I'm a flirt. Right? So I'm a flirt. And I would flirt here and there, and she would say stuff, so she was giving me extra attention. I noticed it, that she treated me a little bit different than the other co-workers, but I never let it go beyond that. And one day she said that her favorite candy bar was Snickers. And I had just went to Sam's Club because I had a youth group too. My youth group was called DVA. So I bought a big case of Snickers bar, the 48 pack. And I brought it to her in the front of her desk and said, "It's from your secret admirer." And she went around the whole day trying to figure out who gave her that candy. I never told her it was me, so I let the rest of the summer go by. I never told her. And then the last day, I was like, well, it was nice knowing all you guys. I got to go back to school and start teaching again. And she was kind of sad. I was like, okay, she was sad. Note to self. But I never played on it. So the next summer, I went back to the exact same company, working in a different campaign. And she was my boss in this campaign. I'm like, what? So I was like, I got the nerve up one day. I was like, well, when I'm not working here, because I'm going to leave in August. When I'm not working here, we should go out sometime. So here's my phone number so you can call me so it won't be inappropriate. She was like, I'm going to do that. So the whole summer, we flirted with each other, like, hey, had our lunches together in the break room every day. And she was a real nice girl. She was really smart. And those that know me, I love smart girls. I love nerds. Hashtag nerds. But she's a real smart girl. We talked about life, politics, the world, the universe, space, God, everything that I was fascinated in. She had some knowledge in. I never met anybody like that before. I'm like, oh, all right, you're pretty awesome. So when I left in August, I reminded her on my last day, like, hey, I'm not going to be anymore, so if you want to hang out or something, give me a call. She was like, okay, I will. September went by. October went by. It's November now. So I was setting up for, we were having a Cowboys watch party for our youth group at the church. And those that know me, I'm not one to shy away from working and setting up stuff. So setting up was on me. So I had like 5 crock pots lined out. We had all types of food. I had parents that was bringing stuff. And I get a phone call, and I'm like, I don't know this number. And those that know me, I don't really answer numbers I don't know. Like, if it's serious, you can talk to my voicemail. If you don't talk to my voicemail, it wasn't really that serious. So I actually answered the phone while holding crock pots. And she was like, hey, this is Natasha. I'm like, inside I know my happiness, like, oh yeah. So she was like, this is Natasha, don't judge me. So I was like, I know you're not gonna believe this, but I'm super busy right now and I'm setting up for my youth group. Can I give you a call back? And I already knew how that sounded. Like, most people were like, yeah, okay, so I call you and you blew me off. But I was for real busy. Like, and those that know me, I be busy a lot. So I was for real busy. I'm like, I'm gonna call you back as soon as I leave this party, if you're still up. I was like, it's probably gonna be around 9 and 10 o'clock. Will you be up? She was like, yeah. So I called her back. So that summer, after that phone call, we decided to talk, as a couple. And she had kids. She had 2 kids, Nicholas and Jacoby. And I was on the fence about being somebody's dad, somebody's stepdad. I used to make this joke. I didn't want to be part of an Insta family, just add Reco and Stir. So I was at odds with how I truly felt about her. I knew I liked her. I didn't know if I liked her and her kids and her mama and them. So that was a lot. So when you like her, you got like all of this. So me being typical me, we done talked about this point for 2 weeks, and it's Thanksgiving. And she was like, hey, you want to come over to my mom's house for Thanksgiving? I don't know what about that scene that scared me to death, but it petrified me. All of a sudden, I made up a lie, because that's what I did at that moment. I was like, no, I already have plans with somebody for Thanksgiving, but thanks for thinking of me. I'm like, why she want to introduce me to her mama? 2 weeks. So she was like, okay, how about I just bring you a plate after Thanksgiving? I'm like, oh, she is sweet. I just told her no, and she still wanted to bring me food. I'm like, she's either really sweet or something wrong with her. So I was like, okay. So that day I spent Thanksgiving alone, out of pride, because I was petrified about the idea of going there with her. So she calls me after her Thanksgiving festivities are over with, and she's like, hey, can I come by now and bring you the plate? And then I was like, I've been thinking. See, girls, whenever guys start off with I've been thinking, it ain't ever really good when guys thinking in the first place, but in a relational sense, it's definitely not good. So I was like, I've been thinking, and I'm not 100% certain that if we were to progress past where we are, that I want to be your husband and your children's father. So she was like, you knew I had kids when you flirted me these past 2 summers? I'm like, yeah, I knew. One thing to know something, that's another thing to experience the reality of it. And I was like, I don't want to lead you wrong. I'm like, I'm unsure inside of what to do. And she gave me some real nice words that weren't Christian. So, yeah, I can't quote those in the sermon. So, and she was like, don't call me again. I'm like, okay. And those that know me well, I analyze everything I do. So, of course, I'm running it through my think tank, all my close friends. I'm like, was I wrong in this? And some of the friends were like, well, I didn't like her in the first place, so you should just let this go. And then some of my friends, I ain't gonna call that friend name out, but she did just laugh real loud. So one of my friends was like, Reco, you a jerk. I'm like, I know. So November, thank you for getting that. So November passes by, December passes by, January passes by, February is the week before Valentine's Day. Her birthday was in February, but I couldn't remember what day. I just knew it was in February. Well, 2 weeks. So I knew it was in February, so it was before Facebook started telling you people's birthdays. So I knew my birthday was in February, and I was taking my class to New York City. So we were in New York City, and those of you that know, New York gives me life. It's my favorite city on earth. So I'm in New York, I'm walking on 42nd Avenue and Broadway, and then I was thinking, I'm supposed to marry that girl and I'm afraid of her kids. And then I just felt like an uber jerk. Then I went and watched Wicked, and kind of go over for a second because I love Wicked. So after I got back from watching Wicked, it's a point to all this, I promise. I got to my hotel room. I was like, oh, let me call her and tell her happy birthday. That'll break the ice. Although I didn't know exactly what day her birthday was. So I called and I was like, hey, it's Reco. She was like, I know. I was like, I'm shocked you answered the phone. She said, me too. What can I do with that for? I mean, yeah. So she's like, yeah, me too. And I was like, well, I was just thinking about you while I was in New York. And she's like, why are you thinking about me? I was like, I know, right? You gotta learn sometimes. So she's like, why are you thinking about me? I was like, I was just calling you to wish you happy birthday. And she was like, my birthday next week. I was like, well, good, I'm early. Wish you a happy early birthday. She went buying that story. So I told her happy early birthday. And I was like, when I get back from New York, would you like to go out sometime? And she was like, and do what? I know, right? And I was like, I said, I feel bad for just anything with you, and I am no longer afraid of being in a relationship with someone with kids. She was like, okay, call me when you get back. So I called her when I got back, and we went on a date. Our date was to Chick-fil-A. Violence. Girl, you can get some nuggets and strips. So we went to Chick-fil-A. And get that large waffle fry, girl. 3 refills on the lemonade. So, I'm out there balling, because, y'all ain't like me. So we're there, and we just started talking, and the conversation started to flow like it had flowed those previous 2 weeks. And then I said, but why did you call me? She was like, I don't know. I looked at that phone, and I meant to hit the red button that send you the voicemail, but I decided to answer it. And then we ended up going to see a movie, and then next 2 weeks, we just started dating. We dated for a long period of time, and then we decided to get married. And we got married in December 2012. Her name was Natasha, if I hadn't said it already, yeah. So we got married in December 2012, and the marriage was going really good. She was helping me with the youth group. She was volunteering at church. But some of my friends were like, I still don't know about her. I'm like, it's kind of late now. I put a ring on it. So I was like, I just got to pray about it. So 2 years into our marriage, I found out through a dream of all things. So I had this dream that she had cheated on me. And I was like, nah, this can't be real. I must have had some tacos last night. This ain't Jesus. So I asked her about it. And then she started crying. And those that know Natasha, we have to think twice before we post this video. Those that know Natasha, she doesn't really cry. She's not an emotional person. And she cried and she was like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, I was devastated. Devastated. Probably how she felt when I told her not to bring that dinner over in November, but a little bit worse. And then everything in me just wanted to be done. And I'm not one to quit, and I don't believe in divorce. So I was like, I just need to go. And she ran to the door. She was crying, and she stopped. Don't go, don't go. I'm thrown back at the fact that she's crying. Like, I had known her now for 3 years, and she shed 1 tear all throughout them 3 years, and that included funerals. So she was not a crier. So I'm like, okay, so she's serious about this forgiveness thing. So I'm like, okay. So I stayed, went and talked to my pastors at the time. We went through counseling again. We went through premarital counseling before we got married. Went through counseling, dealing with the issues. I forgave her, but I didn't forget. So things were always a little more awkward. And then after then, she was a little more, she didn't trust me. I was like, okay, how you don't trust, I ain't the one. So in every argument, I will always bring that up as my point to win the argument. So I'm further driving the wedge between us because I'm truly not forgiving her for this. I forgave her enough, but I didn't forgive her completely because I didn't really understand how to. So 2 years past this point, so we're now in 2012, I became a person I ain't like. I was much meaner. I know it's funny for those of you that already think I'm mean. But I became much meaner. Thank you, Tarisha. I became much meaner and I became distrustful. Like, I always wanted to see her phone, her email, her Facebook. Like, I am not that person at all. I don't care about your stuff. You either with me or you not with me. But something about where I was mentally, I just needed to know. And I already knew what was going on, but I just needed the proof. It's just like, I just want you to confess it. I just want the, thing. And then the day before our 4-year anniversary, and she confessed everything to me that she was having another affair. I'm like, really? Girl, you? Ugh. So I was mad at her, but I wasn't 100% mad at her because I caused the divide the second time that pushed her away. So, like, even though she cheated the second time, I still had a big part to play in how I treated her those previous 2 years. So, with that being said, forgiveness was definitely something I had to learn to do with her. Had to learn to do in general because I never really been hurt by a bunch of people before, and that hurt me more than any hurt had ever hurt me ever in life. And I didn't really want to be in another relationship. I remember telling my friends, I'm like, I think I should just be married to the church and be single till I die. So I honestly didn't even want to date anybody because I was dealing with unforgiveness. So all that being said, let's actually get started in the details of the message. So if you will, hold up your Bibles in your right hand and repeat after me. If you don't have a Bible, your Bible out. If you don't have a Bible out, just kind of hold up your right hand. This is my Bible.
This is my Bible.
I am what it says I am.
I am what it says I am.
I have what it says I have.
I have what it says I have.
I can do what it says I can do.
I can do what it says I can do.
Tonight I will be taught
Tonight I will be taught
the Word of God.
the Word of God.
My mind is alert.
My mind is alert.
My heart is receptive.
My heart is receptive.
I am ready to receive
I am ready to receive
the incorruptible,
incorruptible,
indestructible,
indestructible,
ever-living seed
ever-living seed
of the Word of
of
God.
the Word of God.
I will never be the same.
I will never be the same.
Never, never, never.
Never,
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 never, never, never. No,
no,
I'm pretty sure about it. Even on Saturday. In Jesus' name. And devil, I will bust you in your face. We so violent at this church. If you would turn with me to Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. I'm going to use this as the verse that we're going to go through today as our key verse. Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry about it. I'm going to read the verse. And it says, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Pretty simple verse. Jesus was teaching this in a sermon that people call the Beatitudes. So what's your attitude? What's your attitude be? So he was teaching the Beatitudes, and this is one of the Beatitudes, is blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Your mercy account will never run out as long as you're showing people mercy. The account of mercy you have, God will never stop giving you mercy as long as you're giving other people mercy. So your mercy account will never run out as long as you're showing people mercy. Now, your mercy account can't stay full if you're merciless. So the only way for your merciful to happen, for your mercy account to be full, you can't be merciless, which means that you can't run around not forgiving people. Have anybody ever had an argument with someone or a fight with somebody and you know you needed to apologize to them, but you didn't really want to? You're just like, I know I need to tell them I'm sorry, but I really ain't. And then you say stuff like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry if you took it this way. What kind of jacked up apology is that? Telling people I'm sorry if you took it that way. Any of y'all ever done that? We're going to have a prayer line at the end of the service. So when you apologize to somebody like that, anybody ever received that apology? Did you feel it was sincere? You were like, oh, so you just gonna dismiss my feelings and tell me I shouldn't have felt the way I felt because you don't think I should have felt that way. Get up out of my brain. Bye, Felicia. So when people give you that apology like that, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, that's a type of apology of someone who's not really forgiving people. Last week we talked about that the cross is a bridge and we all have a bridge to cross. One of the bridges that we need to cross in life is forgiveness. And if you're not forgiving people, there's consequences to not forgiving people. And I know you probably heard parts of this before. I needed this the first time my wife cheated on me. And then I probably would have been better at forgiving her. And I know some of y'all were like, I ain't forgiving nobody that cheated on me. You got to forgive them. So today I want you to think about who needs to travel over the bridge of forgiveness. Do you have people in your life that you need to forgive, or people in your life that needs to forgive you? Think about that for a second. I know for some of you, instantly a name or a person comes to mind. Somebody who did something wrong to you in your childhood, a coworker who said the wrong thing, or a relationship that ended wrong because of how they said things. Some of you have forgiveness that you need to give, and some of you have forgiveness that you feel that you need to receive. Last week we talked about that when man tries to build a bridge to God, when humanity builds a bridge to divinity, it never works. When man, out of our own efforts, try to reach God, we're going to always fail. We're going to always fall short. We're going to always fall short. We're going to always end up disappointed. We're going to always end up hurt because us as humans, we can't build a bridge to God. But God decided to build a bridge to us, and that bridge was Jesus Christ. And when he died on the cross, that bridged the gap between humanity and divinity. We now have access to divinity, but there's a bridge to cross to get to divinity, and that bridge is Jesus. So when you think of that bridge to cross being Jesus, you have to ask the cheesy thing that became really popular in the late 80s, what would Jesus do? In situations where you're harboring unforgiveness, what would Jesus do in that situation? Now, Peter, one of the disciples of Jesus, he was the hothead of the group. He was just the one that was just ready to argue. But Peter had some extreme faith. In Matthew chapter 18, you can go there if you want to. 18 chapter 21, verse 22. I'm going to read it. So Peter asked one of those questions. Have you ever asked a question in a group of people where you framed the question in such a way that you came off better than everybody else? It's like, have you ever been in a business meeting and you're talking about X, Y, Z? Well, what if we use, the centrifugal system that does this, and that? They'll be like, good question. They'll be like, Reco is smart. So, if you ever just asked the question, you already knew the answer. You already knew that you knew more than everybody else in the room. That's why you threw that question out there, because people were going to go, So, but this is what Peter did when he was with Jesus. Then Peter came to Jesus, Matthew 18:21. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? How many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Now think about this. Now Peter, he wasn't the best of the best. He wasn't part of the A-team, but he had went through Hebrew school. He knew the Bible. He knew what the Bible said about forgiveness, but he wanted to see what Jesus said. So his follow-up to that, up to 7 times. Now it was really important that he used that number. He said up to 7 times. In Jesus' day, rabbis taught people to forgive people 3 times. So if I forgave you 3 times, you doing real good. I'm sorry, Kenesha. I'm sorry. No, Kenesha. I'm sorry. I'm good. I put in my 3 credit. So he said up to 7 times. So it was just like, I'm doing good. I already exceeded 3, right? So clearly 7 is enough. Jesus answered him, I tell you not 7 times, but 7 times 70 times. Like, what? That's way more than 3, Jesus. That's 490. It's like, that's a lot of times. So Peter made the same mistake that a lot of us do. We think that forgiveness is for the person who offended us and not for the offender. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the person who did you wrong. Forgiveness has to do with you. When things happen in your life, I don't know if this is just our American nature or just a nature in general. When things happen in our lives, we love to blame other people. I had somebody telling me the other day, they were trying to make a point. Like, my mom and dad taught me to do this. I'm like, you're 32 years old. When are you going to stop blaming your mama and your daddy for the decisions you making? Now, granted, they shaped how you were, how you treat things. But at this point, you making your own decisions. You causing your own hurts in life, and you blaming it on them. So you need to grow up and shut up. So in life, I know that was harsh, but hey, tweet that would grow up and shut up. So in life, you have to learn how to forgive people. So when Simon asked, should I forgive 3 times, Jesus threw out that number 7 times, 70 times. He's basically saying that forgiveness is an infinite amount of time because it has nothing to do with the person who wronged you. You forgive them until you are at peace with it. And most of the times when we harbor unforgiveness with people, we have that unforgiveness in our heart and they don't moved on. They on to something else. They don't even know that she mad at them. You see them at the store, you walk the other way like, no, she did just come up in this store. She know I shop in this store. She ain't never shopped in this Whole Foods before. Now she coming in my store, in my neighborhood, but she live next door. So, when you have unforgiveness in your heart, you are stuck on that one issue. That person living life, they on vacation, they get promotions at their job, they got a new car, they got a new spouse, everything in their life seems to be going good. You the only person worried about that one thing that they did to you. They don't care no more, clearly, because they ain't calling you like, oh, Ray, I'm so sorry. But no, that phone call ain't gonna come. So we let bitterness become our buddy. We let hatred become our homeboy. We just let stupidity just slide on in our lives. So we have to get to the point where we are forgiving people because that's what we need, not what they need. I know some people are like, well, what if they did X, Y, Z to me? Did you die? If you didn't die, you need to forgive them. If they killed you, God's gonna judge them for that. But if you didn't die, you need to forgive them. So I want to go to a parable that Jesus taught immediately after this. In Matthew chapter 18, starting with verse 22, I'm going to paraphrase a couple of these verses. So was this king. And it said that he was over this kingdom. And what a kingdom means is a king's dominion. So a king has authority and everything under his control. A kingdom, a king's dominion. So was this king. And this servant owed him the equivalent in 2005, $10 million. And he called the servant. He brought the servant before him. He was like, hey, since you're unable to pay, I'm ordering that not only you, your wife, your kids, all your animals, everything needs to be sold into slavery so that you can repay the debt that you owe me. Now, some of y'all are like, man, that's a messed up king. Some of y'all got that king in your life right now. It's called Sally Mae. They be calling you. So it's like, that king is like, we want you to sell everything to pay me back. It's like, I don't care if you got a car note for $400. We want you to pay $399 a month on your student loan. Everybody needs student loan deliverance? Raise your hand. We'll pray over that too. So we got 2 altar calls at the end of the service. It's like, I saw this joke running around Facebook. This has nothing to do with my message, but I saw this joke running around Facebook. You know, they were rioting in Baltimore. You know, I was a big activist. I was out riding myself. But somebody put they put the address to Sally Mae on Facebook. It was like, while you out riding, don't miss this building. The headquarters for Sally Mae is in Baltimore. So it was like, really, of all the buildings y'all gonna ransack and burn down, y'all gonna let Sally Mae stand? So we still gonna own. Yeah, he's still gonna own them. Okay, they probably don't understand digital record keeping, but don't tell people to burn down the Sally Mae building. So this king told this guy that they were gonna sell him, his kids, his wife. So when you have something, a debt that you owe to somebody, your entire family is responsible for it. If you don't believe that's true, work in the financial industry. We tell people all the time, you got to pay the tax consequences on this money you inherited. It was like, so my uncle left me $25,000 and now I owe the government $72,000. Yes, ma'am. I don't want to, it's yours. He put it, and nothing you can do about it at this point. It's like, thank you, uncle, for leaving me dead. So this whole family was responsible for his debt that he owed him. When you are innocent and you're before an authority, you're seeking justice. He's like, yes, I want justice. I know I'm right. I know I don't owe you this money. I know I haven't done this. I know I haven't committed this crime. Innocent people want justice. Guilty people want mercy. We want mercy. So it's like, you know, I'm so sorry. I meant to say I gave you your money last week, but what had happened was, if you could just be merciful to me this week, I promise to pay you on the 13th. I mean, not the 13th. I don't get paid that week. I promise to pay you on the 20th. You know, we come up with all of our excuses of why we need mercy. It said that the servants fell before his knees, begged him, I will pay back everything. It said the servant master took pity on him, canceled his debt, and let him go. Canceled everything. He owed him $10 million. I don't know about you. If I was in the Bible, that story wouldn't have ended like that. It would have been a little bit different. It was like, oh, you owe me $10 million? Okay. You owe me $10 million. No mercy from Reco. So, but this king gave him mercy and canceled his debt. So he's walking out, you know, he probably got Uptown Funk playing in his head, like, oh yeah, don't believe me, just watch. You know, I don't owe $10 million no more. Maybe y'all ever had a debt paid off at the last day, like you paid off your car note, or this really big credit card bill you find it in the last payment. You just feel lighter when you walk around. It's like, yes, I will get the butter on my popcorn. Thank you, movie man. Yes, I do want the bigger fries, Miss Lady at McDonald's. Yes, I will. It's like, yes, I want express shipping Amazon. Send it to me in 2 days. It's like, you be feeling extra good. Create new debt. So, at this point, he's all happy. He's serious. He's just excited on life. And he comes across this guy who owes him money. Now, this guy just got forgiven for $10 million. He comes across a guy that owes him $2,000. $2,000. You got forgiven for $10 million. This dude owe you, oh no, Alex did not just walk up in my house with new clothes on knowing he owed me money. I was like, how you pay for them clothes, Alex? You know you owe me $20, right? How much that shirt cost? $40? Leave that shirt. Leave it. It ain't even my size, but I'm gonna return it. But that's how we are. He just got forgiven. Now he come across this dude that owed him $2,000. In verse 28, it says, when the servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins, equivalent of $2,000 today. He grabbed him, began to choke him. He turned this dude. He choked him and paid back what you owe me, he demanded. Right now, pay back what you owe me. His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, be patient with me. I will pay you back. So what did this dude do? He begged for mercy. He knew he owed him the $2,000, but he begged for mercy anyway. But it says that the servant refused. He went off and had that man thrown into prison until he could pay the debt. I don't really know how he paid the debt in prison. I don't know if it's like an American prison system where you earn $20, 20 cents a day for working 8 hours. If you know anybody in jail, that's some crazy math, right? They earn money for being in jail by working, and it's like cents a day. When other servants saw what had happened, they were outraged and went and told the king who forgave him what happened. So the king came back and said, you know what? Go ahead and call him back. And this is the same day. This ain't even the next week, a month later, a year later. The same day. So the king called him back. He said, you wicked servant, I cancel all the debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have shown mercy on your fellow servant just as I have shown on you? In his anger, the master handed him over to the jailers to be tortured. Now, initially, he was just going to be put in jail. Now he's been turned over to be tortured. Now, it's no really cute way to describe torture. Like, it's something unpleasant you didn't want to happen to you. So whatever that is, in whatever time frame you're living in history, something unpleasant that you didn't want to happen to you, worse than what already happens in jail. Being in jail is torture enough for me, so you're going to do stuff to me on top of this? So he had him tortured. Thank you. I'll just be sweating like a Hebrew slave up here. So in his anger, his master handed him over to be jailed. And he said, you should pay back all you owe. And the next part of this, when I was reading through this and preparing this message, sometimes I read through the Bible, I'm like, man, life would be much easier, Jesus, if you just excluded this verse from the Bible. And like everything in me wanted to teach you this and leave out this verse, but I can't teach you this and leave out this verse. So this definitely one you should go look at yourself, because clearly I debated whether or not you should do it. But Matthew chapter 18, verse 35. Think of everything that just happened with these two servants. This is Jesus talking. This is how my heavenly Father would treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart. So God is saying he's going to torture you for your unforgiveness. That's not the happy PC Jesus we teach all the time, is it? This is not rainbows and butterflies. This ain't feel-good songs, walking and skipping. Everybody's been so happy you just been skipping. This is just going to stop all that skipping in this mid-track. It's just like you when you were a little kid, and you were just happy and skipping, and you skipped in front of your mom and dad and just went, wow, why are you so happy? Y'all got to meet my dad for that to make sense. Dad, if you watch it online, yes, I just told everybody in the world that you just hit me for being happy. So Jesus said, this is how my Father in heaven would treat you when you don't forgive people. You're going to be tortured. Now, what does that mean? Like that was pretty ominous to say that we're going to be tortured. For those of you who suffer from sickness that you just can't get over, those of you that end up in relationships and it never seems to work out right, those of you that never get that promotion at the job that you feel that you deserve, but something always happened at the last minute. For those of you who are just going through different